Hi, I'm recording this to kind of blog about a concept I've been reading and studying recently. And do please excuse the noise. I'm right next to a football stadium at the minute, as well as a lot of traffic going right by me. So the topic is verbal intelligence or verbal types of thinking. And verbal intelligence in general as opposed to non-verbal, and what that means as far as just being a person in general is concerned, and general implications in life. So verbal intelligence, just so it's clear, it's broadly contains a set of capacities which include having vocabulary, an extensive vocabulary, extensiveness of vocabulary, ability to draw parallels, ability for abstract reasoning, ability to, just other verbal, ability to use language in order to get things done in the broadest possible sense. So this is how you would kind of describe it. And then non-verbal is all the other types where you start doing technical types of work, such as a picture matrix type puzzle solving, extrapolating puzzles, working memory, and so on, all these kinds of different challenges. So I think it's it's important to draw the distinction in what kind of work suits people of these different types of intelligence. And I know, these are quite diametrically opposed. So if a person has a high verbal intelligence and with a lower non-verbal one, then this just means a lot of professions are going to be rage-inducing, depression-inducing, and just not going to work well for them. And on the counterpoint, if a person is highly non-verbally competent, he is likely to experience frustration when confronted with just having to verbally kind of write stuff out all the time, without having those puzzles to solve, which he might be more interested in actuality. So this is kind of how these types of different people differ. But one of the important things, one of the insights I have is that more recently I've been thinking about myself as a verbal type of person. However, I was not grown up like this. More grown up to be a kind of technical type of person, engineering person, which fits more with my background and family as well. So I felt that created great frustration in me, and that's why recently I kind of started studying this topic, and I feel it can make a great point. So having experienced something which I imagine, and again there's no clinical evidence, haven't really done much in the way of intelligence testing, but I would assume this to be the case because it quite accurately describes what I've been going through. So again, to get back to it, the problem I've been experiencing is that I was doing technical types of work at some of my previous roles for a lengthy period, and this didn't bode well for me. Even though I was, reasonably good at it, I could get a quality of work that was good, and as well as kept winning more work over with some of our clients for the technical, as a result of the technical stuff I built up. But what ended up happening was, even though it was objective, even from the client's point of view, good stuff, I didn't feel satisfied. And and that psychologically kept impacting me in a bad way, and I couldn't figure out for a long time. I couldn't figure out what was going on. I was doing good work. Why wasn't this working for me? Why, I kept kind of trying to explore more stuff, find something that would be more suitable, just to improve things somehow. So it was a lot of frustration. Anyway, more recently I've been trying to kind of move more towards the verbal line, and it seems that has been working. So just being able to write something that other people aim to read, as opposed to putting together a technical product, has been helping me. The thing is, though, it's not quite that simple. And what I mean by that is that if you're a verbal type thinker and you have something like a dyslexia or a reading disability or other type of learning disability, then that can really fool you into having a misunderstanding about what your skill set is. And I think that's part of what my frustration has been. So throughout school I've always kind of struggled with reading, even though verbally mostly I could express myself. I dealt with a lot of frustration as well as other types of problem being induced by this kind of frustration, putting things back, not wanting to do homework because of reading was not very easy, and I had not the best grades in literature classes, as well as other these types of problems cropping up. So I kept because of that, I always kept thinking I wasn't any good at verbal stuff, writing stuff, and that kind of pushed me into the direction of being tech guy, and assuming that's what I must have been therefore good at, because I wasn't great at reading. Turns out if you have dyslexia and are more of a verbal type of thinker, then that ends up totally pushing you in the wrong direction, because you're still mostly valuable and mostly can contribute through use of your verbal skills, verbal abstract reasoning, ability to convey points and compare things, bring out analogies, and really explain things in an understandable way. But if you also have dyslexia, then this can mask it. Especially if you haven't practiced a lot at writing, because and that's also a kind of tangential point. I think if you have dyslexia, you may find that writing, while it can be done, it takes a lot of practice. Or for me, it certainly took a lot of crafting to get a hold of, how you should write stuff in order to avoid. In order to kind of accept making mistakes and not get stuck at that level where you're worried about your grammar, but really just more concerned about writing solid stuff. So anyway, that's the reason why dyslexia makes it even harder. So getting back to the original point. So verbal intelligence, and if you're a verbal type of thinker, meaning your verbal intelligence exceeds your non-verbal one, then it's important to get into a situation that you're able to put it into good use, such as verbal or journalism, media, just writing type and presentation type management work and so on, these fields, broadly speaking. And if you're in a technical field, that can cause heaps after heaps of frustration. And also it's the kind of frustration where you may be working super hard. For instance, I consider that to have happened to me. So typically, I've worked longer than others. Tended to realize that I was slower than others at many tasks. But at the same time, I didn't feel stupid. So if I had adequate time, I could oftentimes deliver, really good quality work as well. So that was what really misled me. But so that's one of the frustrations that can happen if you're a verbal type of person in a field more suitable for other kinds of people. So just to keep in mind. Anyway, I'm going back past the football field I mentioned earlier. Made a mini circle here. So I hope that point kind of makes sense, and really, it's such an important point to think. If you're having problems in your career, if things at work kind of, you know that they're not right. It may be hard to explain what exactly is not working for you, but you may feel that you're not making full use of your skills, or that you're dreaming of or whatever. Oftentimes it's because it's almost like your mind doesn't want to work for you if you're doing this non-productive type of work, where the type of work where you feel you're not using your full skill set. Because subconsciously you might know that if it's non-verbal work, you're not using your full verbal set of abilities. But it can be hard to explain if you're not familiar with the concept. It can just appear that you're frustrated out of no reason. Certainly other people looking at you might want to say that, and you might become more kind of introverted, reclusive as a result of having that kind of career frustration, which is really a terrible thing to experience, and can paradoxically take you further from a solid solution, just because of dealing with that a paradox, losing kind of social skills and communication skills while being a verbal type of thinker. Incredibly frustrating, and something I went through. So anyway, kind of rambling, but that's the point I wanted to make on this. That what kind of problems can arise in this area. So thanks for listening, and actually looking forward to. Do you hit me? Okay. Apologies. So gonna wrap this blog just up. And funnily enough, actually, some guy just went past me and spit at me. So kind of frustrating for that having happened. Anyway, wrapping up here. So thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you again soon. Cheers.